Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest project. And today I want to share with you another composition notebook. I just love creating these composition notebooks. And I recently joined a swap in Amy Love's Facebook group to decorate or alter a composition notebook for your partner. And so I did want to share that with you guys today before I packaged it up and sent it off. But I did want to share also the paper that I used in this altered notebook. And the main paper that I used was from Stamperia. And I used the Wonderland paper collection. I've had this in my stash for a couple of years. And I haven't used it until I took it out for this swap. And I really loved working with this paper collection. It was a really fun paper collection to work with. And then I also added a couple of accent pieces that came from the Dream paper collection, also from Stamperia. I used like a couple of the journal cards and a couple of the tags that came from this paper collection. It coordinated nicely with the Wonderland paper collection, so I went ahead and used them in this swap. And so here's a couple of the swap items that I will be sending my partner that I wanted to share with you guys. Of course, I have a few other goodies I'm going to add into the package, but these were just a couple that I wanted to share with you. I did make a quick little tag, again, using that paper collection, the Dream paper collection. And I just sewed around it. I don't know if that'll show up on the camera very well. And I went ahead and added a couple of flowers and some seam binding at the top. And then also these little pieces here that I buy from Hobby Lobby. And it just says for you. Like I said, it was a real basic tag. And I'm just going to put a little note on the back of here for my partner. So I'm including that in the package. And then also when I was walking around my craft room, I found I had these blank doily hats that I had found a long time ago at a thrift store. And I thought it'd be fun to decorate up a little hat to include in my package. And so I went ahead and did that. And for those of you who aren't aware of how you make these hats, is my mom, I know a long time ago, used to decorate similar items. And you take doilies and you'd put like fabric stiffener in them, and then you'd like pin them over half of a styrofoam ball, and then you'd put pins out to the side so that these stayed flat. And then you make these cute little hats. Like I said, I know my mom did these hats or something similar a long, long time ago when I was a little girl. But I had found a couple of these hats already pre-made at the thrift store, minus the decorations. And so I thought it'd be fun to decorate one up for my partner. And it was kind of a quick and simple little project. All I had to do was add the little rosette trim that I added around the base of the hat. And then I also went ahead and added the fun little flowers, the white leaves, and then this little tool with the bead spray in it that comes from Hobby Lobby. And so I decorated that hat for my partner just for something extra and fun in the package. So here is the composition notebook that I created. And of course I will hold it up to the camera in a second so you can check out all the details. And again, the main paper collection that I used was the Wonderland paper collection. And I did start off on this composition notebook, is I do like to paint my spines, which you won't see that. But I never know, like when I cover lace, if you'll see the black, because the composition notebook that I used was black. So I did paint it with a little bit of gesso first, just in case it showed through. And then I did go ahead and I layered on some paper from the paper collection. And then I also added some basic lace to the spine. And then I also covered over that a little bit. I added the flatback pearls. I added the fun rosette trim on the side. On the front, you can see a couple of layers. I have 1, 2, 3 layers of paper on the front. And also then I added the teardrop trim. I added this fun little wood frame that I painted. And then I added flatback pearls. I added these fun little clay roses that I got just recently in a swap from Tammy. So thank you, Tammy, for those. They were perfect. Also in the corners, I added some fun little clusters with some different paper flowers in my collection, or mulberry paper flowers. I added the white leaves. I also added some of these fun little embellishments. And I believe, again, I got a couple of these from Tammy. And then I had a couple in my stash. I added some fun rosette trim at the bottom. I also added the fun little fringe trim that you see down here, and that does come from KS for You, or Craft Supplies for You, which is a fun trim that I really like. And then also there's some more flat back pearls and some more trim right here, and this was some that I had purchased at Hobby Lobby. And then this fun, gorgeous tulle trim right here comes from Angel Dreams Crafts Kim on Etsy, which I love that. She has that in several different colors. And then the back side, you can see just mainly the paper collection, but I also added this little crochet trim on the outside, some more flat back pearls, and some of that basic lace. So I'm gonna go ahead and hold it up, and then we'll go ahead and look at the inside. So again, I'm just starting kind of off at the bottom so you can see all the wonderful details. I love lots of layers. And then I also added, which I don't think I mentioned, I added the little wood piece that I had here that said Believe. I did paint that up pink before I added it. There's a fun little image from the paper that I chose. I chose a unicorn. I just thought he was handsome. And of course, you know, all the little details with the roses and the pearls, the teardrop trim. Here's the upper corner flower cluster that I created. I really, really love how this turned out. It's one of those notebooks that's going to be hard to give away, but hopefully my partner does love it. And then again, the back side, which usually I leave my back sides other than making sure that I have, you know, a little bit of decoration. I usually leave them pretty plain because I figure people are, you know, using them to write on. So it's nice to have the backs fairly flat. And so I'm going to go ahead and open up the inside so you guys can check that out. So when you open up the inside, of course, you see the fun little tulle trim peeking out from the cover. And then again, at the bottom, you see the fringe trim. And then for the inside cover, I usually like to cover my insides. And then oftentimes I go a step further and I'll add a little pocket of some sort. And so this time I did do a double pocket. So I took some of the paper collection and I trimmed it with some of the fun little crochet type trim that I had in my stash. And then I went ahead and added the word imagination, some of the leftover trim that I had used on the cover right here. I went ahead and added that right there to the side. And so I do have this one little small pocket right here, which I chose to put these two tags in them. And I didn't do any decorating on them other than I did sew around the edges. And I added the little eyelets up at the top along with some seam binding. I figured my partner could use them however she wanted to. If she wanted to make a journal or if she wanted to use them in Happy Mail, she could, you know, include a little note or something on the back side of it. So I put those in the pockets right here. And then in this back pocket right here, I went ahead and added these two journal cards that came from that Dream paper collection. And again, I just sewed around the edges, and that's all I did for decorating. Again, thinking that my partner, she could use them however she wanted to. If she wanted to use them in a scrapbook, in a journal, or just use them for notes inside of this notebook, she'd have that option. So I didn't do anything other than just sewing around them. And then, of course, I did add the cardstock, the white cardstock on the back of these just to add a little bit of stability and strength to them. And then, of course, you can see the background paper. Again, that's that Wonderland paper collection. And then, again, I used some more of the paper collection on the back page to decorate it. And on this back side, you do see some of that little crochet trim sticking out on the sides. And again, that's the back cover. Thank you everybody so much for watching today. If you are new to crafting, paper crafting, or altering composition notebooks and you would like a tutorial, make sure you guys open up my description box because I will have a link for a previous video where I have altered a composition notebook in a Shabby Chic style. So if you guys would like to see that, just make sure you open up the description box. I will have a link for that. And again, thank you everybody so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, I do love to read them and I do my best to answer questions. So feel free to pop down into the comment section and leave a question or any comments that you have. And until next time, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day and happy crafting.